Psalm 50. The mighty God, even the Lord, hath spoken, and called the earth from the rising of the sun unto the going down thereof. Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, God hath shined. Our God shall come, and shall not keep silence. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about him. He shall call to the heavens from above, and to the earth, that he may judge his people. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. And the heavens shall declare his righteousness, for God is judge himself, Selah. Hear, O my people, and I will speak, O Israel. And I will testify against thee. I am God, even thy God. I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifices or thy burnt offerings, to have been continually before me. I will take no bullock out of thy house, nor he-goats out of thy folds. For every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. I know all the fowls of the mountains, and the wild beasts of the field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell thee, but the world is mine, and the fullness thereof. Will I eat the flesh of bulls, or drink the blood of goats? Offer unto God thanksgiving, and pay thy vows unto the Most High, and call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. But unto the wicked God saith, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldst take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee. When thou sawest a thief, and thou consentedst with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest, and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself, but I will reprove thee, and set them in order before thine eyes. Now consider this, ye that forget God, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver. Whoso offereth praise glorifieth me, and to him that ordereth his conversation aright will I show the salvation of God.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great example towards younger brothers. And peace and blessing salutate to the whole elect out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the whole elect, the believers, the listeners who may have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. All right, now what I want to get into, okay, tonight, all right, is dealing with another World War III update, dealing with the effects of war, okay, the effects of war, because, when people think of war, they think of, machine guns and missiles, okay, but it's much more to war than that. All right, what we're about to witness as we enter into this Third World War, okay, even before, the heavy fighting begins, okay, it's going to be, we're going to experience, changes in society, okay, and what's going on over there now in the land of Israel, reference. Let me go ahead and cue these precepts up. But what we have going over there now in the land of Israel, okay, between those Israelis, all right, and those Arabs, is going to eventually spiral into a regional, all right, conflict, okay. And what we have to understand in their region in the Middle East, okay, a lot of the world's energy relies, okay, on their region, and that's why America, that's why, you know, the state of Israel was established to pretty much police those resources over there in their region, okay? Because America is a nation that's heavily reliant, okay, on their oil, all right? You have those Eastern nations, China, all right, Russia heavily relying on their oil. And this is what you see, the face off it for World War III in their region because their oil is very vital, okay? It's very vital to the energy sector of these society. It's vital to the military, okay? And what we have to understand, you look at the things that take oil and energy, you know, these big plants, all right, these trucks, these cargo ships, okay, everything, majority of the things, personal vehicles, okay, there's a lot of things that's dependent, all right, on the resources in their region. So a conflict in their region is going to have a major ripple effect on day-to-day society. And this is what we're going to witness, all right, going into this war. And it's going to be a conventional war in this region. And it's going to lead, okay, to the Third World War. There's going to go nuclear, okay? So we're just going through the buildup, all right? Now, let's read this in 2nd Ezra 15:1. It says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Okay? Because everything that's written down, all right, we're seeing happen in real time. You see, that's the thing. Everything that's happening real time, all these major world events is written down in the book and we're going over them. All right, that's how we know they're faithful and true because they're happening. Everything that's written in paper is happening. Okay? You got Jake, saying we believe in fairy tales, showing you that they're blinded. Okay? It wasn't giving them to know the mysteries of the kingdom. Okay? If a brother can put that up there, Bob Bashar. All right, was it Matthew 13, verse 9 and 10? You know? I don't know if any brothers on. Oh, I see my brother, Bob Bashar, if you could, brother. That Matthew 13, verses 9 and 10. All right, because it's not given, because the mystery, remember, our kingdom, all right, is going to be established after this war. So part of understanding the mysteries of the kingdom is to understand, all right, prophecy, all right, and then the major prophecy to understand in this Third World War. Okay? So just because Jake got incredulity, which is, the mindset that these things can't happen, that like it's impossible for these things to happen, that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. Okay? Believe the belief of the unbelievers is not required. That's why the scripture said they're going to die. All right, verse 4: For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Yeah, you have to believe in World War III for it to affect your life. Okay, whether you get drafted over there, all right, or you're reserved for the missiles, or you starve because the famine caused by war. Okay, so you don't have to believe, all right, in prophecy for prophecy to affect your reality, man. Okay, these are the times that we in. All right, yo. So let's get this. This is brother GMS Shar Lakama. This is Matthew 13 and 9. It says, "Who have ears to hear, let him hear." Okay. Verse 10. And the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, all right, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. Okay? So unto you is given to understand the mysteries, all right, of the kingdom of heaven, which is the kingdom of Israel, under Yahushua, but to the masses of the people, to the masses of our people, is not given. That's why Jake, they'll make that statement, we believe in fairy tales. Why? Because the mysteries wasn't given to Jake, man. Okay, and Jake is getting ready to die in their unfaithfulness, man. All right, the Lord, hey, you finna put Jake in a very, very state of torment in their mindset, man. All right, verse 5, it says, behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And you see how all these things are tied together, the famine, great death, and destruction. Okay, you're gonna have a lot of the domestic, violence. Okay, a lot of, internal, okay, violence in America, and there's gonna be a lot of external violence with these wars. A lot of this war is gonna cause a lot of destruction to the earth. Okay, and when this war, even when it's just conventional war, all right, we're gonna see, all right, a major effect on day-to-day society, man. All right, and the scriptures explain why it's getting to that point. This is let's see, this is verse 6. It says, for wickedness, all right, the conduct of the earth, the norms of the earth, is wicked now. It said, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Okay, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Okay, so as we see wickedness increase, what do we see? War increase. All right, and especially since Biden been in office, it just been a freak show in the earth, man. Okay, so as we see wickedness increase, we see war increase, man. All right, and war is the punishment for the wicked. It's gonna have a major ripple effect on the day-to-day lives, all right, of the people. Okay, I want to get that now, real quick before I get that, because the Lord has blinded, all right, the masses to what's going on. Okay, and that's why you still have our people concerned, with getting a job and getting some money. Okay, with something that's not finna matter in the times to come. All right, Isaiah 6 and 9. It says, and he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the hearts of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed. Because Jake, all right, bear witness that they see the prophets. Because what did Jake say? Y'all out there either shivering in the cold or sweating. So Jake's seeing, but he can't perceive. And if he's seeing, he can hear. Okay, and Jake can tell you that they got the turbans and the capes on, was he talking to, probably talking about another group, but at the end of the day, he's seeing camps. Okay, so he's able to tell you what they have on. He's able to say, y'all just want to know shit. Well, that's letting you know that he's seeing and hearing, but he can't understand with his heart, with his mind. Okay, and he's not healed. That's why he's still, all right, talking about getting a job. His solution is a job and get some money. Okay, so then said, our Lord, how long? All right, so the angel like, how long, you're going to keep them blind? And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant. Okay, World War III. And the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate, man, the nukes. Okay, and Jacob be in his right mind in the spirit realm. All right, because the land going to be wasted without inhabitants. So it means Jacob now, he's going to be in the spiritual realm. Then you're going to know. Then you're going to know. Okay? So let's go from there. And I want to get this video that goes into, how this war, all right, is gonna have it's gonna affect, okay, economy, is gonna affect a lot of things, man. Okay? Let's go here. Uh, yeah, this the one. So I'm gonna let this play. All right. So I'm gonna let this play. He's gonna bring in, this economic guy. All right. He's gonna go into the effects of war on the economy. All right, and it's also tied to what the sea hip. Okay, this war is ushering in the sea hip. Okay, which will be made mandated before this war goes nuclear, man. The hour of temptation. Okay, so um, let's let this play, and we'll go from there.
Guest coming up, Andy Scheckman from Miles Franklin. As you know, we had originally scheduled a fundraising telethon for today. We delayed that because of the crisis in the Middle East. Effectively, we kind of need a solution for all of humanity right now. Otherwise, we're going to go over the cliff into some very bad territory. Some of what Andy Scheckman is going to be covering with us today, my special guest, is the economic consequences of all of this. And I just want to thank you for all your support over all these years, supporting our network and supporting, Brighteon.tv, BrighteonRadio.com, HealthRangerStore.com. We couldn't do this without you. And I do want you to know that no matter what you are about to hear, that we are philosophically dedicated to protecting human life and that we value all human lives of all ethnicities, of all skin colors, of all even orientations, everything, all across the world. We don't want to see one more child killed. We don't want to see any more bloodshed. We want peace. But we live in a world where the powers that be want war. And because they are in control, sadly, and maybe we can do something about that with elections, but because they are in control, they're going to bring us to war. And so we have to understand the economic consequences, the consequences to the dollar, to your savings accounts, your pensions, to your lifestyle. Everything that you're used to as an American or wherever you're watching from is about to be put in real jeopardy because of the events that are taking place. And so I'm proud to be able to bring you this platform with the help of all the people there in the studio who are making this happen, and Bob Denny and Bob Sisson and so many others, and Alan Keyes. We're very proud to be able to bring you this platform where we can have uncensored discussions about all of this in real time as events are unfolding. So with that said, allow me to bring in my guest today, Andy Scheckman, who is the CEO of Miles Franklin, the website, milesfranklin.com. Andy Scheckman is the man who has the best analysis of de-dollarization around the world. He's been on that for years. He was right again and again and again. He was the first to be talking about the BRICS nations and their plan to dethrone the dollar, and that is accelerating every day now. Welcome, Andy Scheckman, to the show today. Thank you for joining me.
Great to be here. I appreciate it, Mike. Thanks for having me. Hopefully I don't get kicked out of this room that I'm in. I got up at 3 a.m. and did some traveling this afternoon, and I'm in a hotel and found a meeting room that was unoccupied. So excuse the informality, but I'm glad to be here and wouldn't miss it whenever there's an opportunity.
Well, I begged you to come on today, so thank you for making time in your schedule. Even though I knew you were traveling, world events are happening at such a rapid pace. If you get kicked out of the room, find another room. We'll just reconnect you.
Okay.
Don't worry about
Sounds it. Good.
Or
Sounds
tell
good.
them you can't kick me out. We're trying to save the world. We're on live, Brighteon TV.
Yes.
So let's start with a couple of facts. Just in the last 24 hours, Wall Street Journal reporting that the United States and Israel have jointly decided to delay Israel's full-scale ground assault on Gaza so that the U.S. military can position anti-air defense systems and get them up and running, which may take about another week. This tells me that the U.S. is anticipating very profound escalations of rocket attacks from Hezbollah in particular, and possibly ballistic missiles, medium-range missiles from Iran.
So what you have now, before those Israelis, do a ground invasion in Gaza, you have America setting up missile defense system, to assist, the Iron Dome, because they expect a lot of rockets to come into Israel, in the land of Israel, if they do a ground invasion in Gaza. Okay, so this is almost a guarantee. All right, that if they put boots on the ground in Gaza, all right, and start to occupy Gaza, and continue, the assault, all right, on, civilians, okay, in the Gaza Strip, okay, you're gonna have Hezbollah, okay, then you have Iran with missiles capable of reaching, all right, Israel, and with precision, okay. So this is where we at, man. Like he said, it might take a week, So we're just gonna watch, keep your eyes open. The major thing to watch for is if they put boots on the ground in Gaza, all right, and the reaction for Hezbollah, okay. That's the next move, that we're watching to make, that we're watching, all right, to see them make, okay. So America's supposed to be positioning missile defense system, all right, for their purpose, okay. But if Hezbollah, has a quarter of the missiles that they claim to have, which they probably got way more, okay, because you never know what someone got to start using. All right, it's going to overwhelm those missile defense system, okay. And if Iran, shoots, all right, ballistic missiles, okay, those long range, the ballistic missiles, you can see a direct attack on Iran. So we here, man. We here. All right. Hey, everybody in they lot, Jake wilding out, Jake wanna, be seen and be a gorilla out here in these streets. Okay. But everyone's in their lot, man, and everything's being fulfilled accordingly. All right. So let's let this play some more.
It also means that the U.S. and Israel are anticipating that they are absolutely planning to go into Gaza. And as you know, Andy, once they do that, it sets off a chain reaction of world events. So let me hand it to you now. What do you think? What are the dominoes that begin to fall once this gets ignited?
Right. Well, it's a scary thought. I think that the conflict could very quickly escalate into a regional war, as you're alluding to, and with the United States becoming directly involved. I think that is a high probability, unfortunately. You have many of these countries that are the OPEC nations that are directly opposed to the United States and Israeli agenda, and the possibility, I would think, of them responding with some sort of an oil embargo becomes, I think, rather probable. I think you see Iran and their naval fleet do all they can to halt the safe passage of tankers through the Straits of Hormuz. It is the choke point for nearly 20% of the world's oil. I think you'll see a spike in energy prices, and obviously, when we talk about energy going higher, anything that we do, it has a component of energy in it, from touching, surfing the internet, to mining, to farming, to anything you do, driving a car. There's energy involved, and so as the price of energy goes higher, we can anticipate much higher inflation. I think we could also anticipate central banks responding accordingly, which then creates the domino effect that we've talked about in various forms the last few times we've been together. The financial markets and the banking sector react inversely to escalating interest rates, and it's a doom loop. Much of this is a doom loop, in particular with the banks. The petrodollar trade collapses, hyperinflation emerges. There's your Operation Sandman moment, and this is not, I think, hyperbole. There's a high percentage that something along these lines or a form of this type of reaction happens, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, so you see, he said, the ripple effect, could be the rising of energy prices, hyperinflation. It's gonna be a ripple effect, man. So a lot of the world's energy comes from their region. Okay, when this war, all right, it's not just shooting machine guns and tanks and missiles. All right, you have uh, a stoppage of supplies. The daily routines are the supply chain will be heavily affected. Okay, you see, we're at the very end of the supply chain, to where there's a lot of things that have to happen for us to be able to put 20 on pump 10. Okay, to clock in every day. Okay, to go to the grocery store and get those supplies. There's a lot of things that happen on a daily basis to make those things convenient. Okay, for the daily, especially in America, for the daily first world privileges that we all enjoy. Okay, there's a lot of things that have to happen on a daily basis for that to work, man. Okay, and then if this war breaks out, if you have, a major conflict in that region, and it's conventional warfare, all right, then expect to see, all right, a major disruption, all right, in the the global supply chain, man. Okay, which is going to have a ripple effect on society. Okay, so let's let this play. Oh, the brother got a few. This is the hopeful leg 3. It says, this is brother Yaakov, 2nd Ezra 16 and 18. It said, the beginning of sorrows and great mourning. And see, we're in the beginning of these things. Okay, and it's only going to increase. The beginning of famine and great death. The beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, and the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils come? Okay, so Ezra is seeing these things, and he's, like, what can someone do? All these things happening at the same time. Like, what can you do? Showing you this is time to be more rooted than ever. Okay, being more tapped in than ever in this. Okay, because it's going to be a lot of things happening at the same time. Okay, a lot of things happening. It's going to be a major ripple effect in the earth, man. All right, because of this war. So let's play some more.
And what's extraordinary is that even right now, today, we're seeing a lot of escalations. Yemen calling for an energy embargo, for example, and Erdogan out of Turkey saying that he is willing to dedicate Turkish military forces to kinetically engage Israel if Israel does not stop the bombing of Gaza. So, and I understand you have some background noise there because you're in a hotel room. Don't worry about it. Our audience understands. But we are seeing escalation talk now that is about to translate into reality. It's not just going to stay at talk. Everything is about to go kinetic in the region.
And the scriptures say that. If a brother can get that in Jeremiah 51 and 46. And that's another thing. Turkey is now, saying that they, will engage, okay, Israel, okay, those Israelis, okay, in war. And what we have to understand, if you go into the history, when you go into the Ottoman Empire before World War One, that's who had control of Palestine. And what you had those Arabs, all right, because the Ottoman Empire was just Edomites that was Muslims. Okay, you go into the Khazarian Empire. When Esau Edom was pushed, okay, out of power into the Caucasus Mountain over there in Georgia, Russia. Okay, and he was in that region. All right, and when you had the Khazarian Empire, Esau, they got into Judaism, and that's where you get, the Ashkenazi Jews, okay, of Europe, okay, they were sprinkled into Europe, practicing Judaism. You had Edomites, practicing Christianity. They had dealings with the Byzantine Empire, and then you had Edomites that um, was into Islam. The Ottoman Turks, okay, and the Ottoman Turks became a dynasty, okay, in 1452 when they took down the Byzantine Empire, all right, and they ruled under the banner of Islam, okay, and you already had these Islamic caliphates of Ishmael, they had their particular empires, but the Ottoman Turks, rose up, the preeminence amongst the Muslim world, okay, because it was time for Esau to come back in power. So those Turks, them Edomite Turks, they had possession of Palestine, and those Arabs that was in that land, they was Islam too, but they was Ishmael, and they were subjects, all right, under the Ottoman Empire. Okay, so what you had was pretty much the British. All right, they played those Arabs, which we call Palestinians today. They were like, look, if y'all raise up against the Turks, okay, the Ottoman Turks, you know, we'll give y'all independence. We'll give y'all liberty. Well, at the same time, he was promising those those Ashkenazi, okay, those small hats that were spread out through Europe. He was promising them to make them a state as well. Okay, so the Turks pretty much, got Palestine stripped from them after the First World War. Then after the Second World War, you had those implants that we see today in there. So the Turks, have some history, all right, because the Ottoman Empire was pretty much reduced to Turkey. Okay, it's the country of Turkey that we know today, but they have history, okay, with them small hats, man. Okay, and who is Turkey allied with? It's Gomar and Ezekiel 38. So you have Gomar, saying, look, we'll get active. We'll send troops to Israel, to the land of Israel. So, hey, the least of the flock is drawing them out, man. All right, and that's where we at with it. And this guy Mike Adams, he just said, look, it's not just gonna keep being talks about what they're gonna do. Eventually, it's gonna be action. And the scriptures say that. All right, this is Brother Yahweh, the hopeful Lake 3, Jeremiah 51:46. It said, "At least your heart faint, and you fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land. A rumor shall both come 1 year, and after that, in another year, shall come a rumor." Okay, all these circulating stories. All right, and violence in the land, ruler against ruler, and violence in the land, ruler against ruler, and this is what we're seeing. Okay, violence in this is what it's building up to, from just stories, or if they do this, we gonna do that, and eventually, hey, it's just gonna be a domino effect, man. All right, and this regional conflict can happen quick. All right, so let's play some more.
And Israel itself is going to be under severe attack. It's quite clear by now. and the U.S., as we know, has long wanted to escalate this to attack Iran. But is it possible that the U.S. and Israel are miscalculating the capabilities of the Arab nations that surround Israel, who have engaged in a lot of development? For example, Iran has hypersonic missiles, and they can also receive other missiles from Russia and so on. But are the Western allies then potentially miscalculating how bad this is going to be and how vulnerable they might be, in your opinion?
Absolutely. I think there's always the possibility of miscalculation. And when you're talking about this current administration and the way they seem to do things, starting with the retreat out of Afghanistan in 2021, I wouldn't put any type of miscalculation by them. This is something that could turn very dirty very quickly. And, you know, when you talk about the fact that in the span of the last year, Iran is joined not only the BRICS nations, but also the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is the largest regional military and financial organization on the planet. I highlight the word military. Now, I haven't seen anyone talk about the SCO getting involved in this or any of the BRICS nations, but I guess what I'm simply trying to say is that, especially as it pertains to the majority of the OPEC countries being involved with BRICS and or the Belt Road Initiative, I think this is something that not only could become is something that we could have easily miscalculated in terms of the impact of aggression and war, but also in terms of the financial impact and the economic impact, which could get very, very dangerous very quickly, in the respect that if all of these OPEC countries, this could be the moment where they say, listen, you know, our interests are not aligned anymore on many levels, so we're done taking dollars for oil. And that moment, at that moment, not only are you fighting two wars, but you're watching simultaneously a collapse of your economy, your dollar, your markets, interest rates spike. It's that Operation Sandman moment. It's the wrong time for the U.S. to have to go through something like that, and it could happen very easily.
Yeah, this is a really critical point that you're making. Thank you for bringing it up, where
It's a lot, you know, that can happen. You know, OPEC nations, all right, which are pretty much sided with the BRIC nations. You see, everything is shifting to the east. All the assets is going to the east, and what you have is these nations, you know, pretty much, you know, because these nations are down with the NWO. Okay, but what we're seeing is a skirmish over resources to see who's going to be, you know, the dominant superpower after this war. Because after each war, you always have a dominant superpower established in the earth. Because when you win the war, you can set up terms of how the earth is going to be ran going forward. So you have all these nations pretty much putting their hat, you know, putting their hat in the bid, you know, to dominate in this, even if not dominate, to be allied with the dominant nation, okay, to be allied with, you know, the potential dominant nation after this war. All right, but we know the dominant nation is going to be Israel and the Yahweh. Okay, the governing body, the 144,000 and the elect. Okay, well, this is what we're seeing: these nations jockeying for resources, because resources put you in a position of having leverage and authority. So this is what we're seeing. Okay, so we're going to see a lot of, you know, like I said, we're going to see a major ripple effect in economies. Okay, and shipping and transporting goods. We're going to see a major interruption in that, man. Okay, so I'll play a little more. Then I want to fast forward to another part.
because of the U.S. Pressuring the SWIFT system to cut off Russia from international dollar-denominated transactions, and also effectively stealing Russia's $300 billion plus in dollar-denominated assets in Western central banks. It seems like a message was sent, a year and a half ago to the world by the West. Don't trust us. Don't trust our banks. Don't trust our dollar. Don't trust our currency. And in this moment in the Middle East, where you see now everybody is picking a side, and almost everybody in the Middle East is picking the side opposed to Israel, by the way, including Saudi Arabia, which was supposed to be an Israeli ally and a U.S. ally, until recently. It seems to indicate that these countries, they probably reached a moment where they're fed up with dollar weaponization. They're fed up with Western central banks. They're fed up with the money printing. And they see that sooner or later they're going to have to cut the cord. And it's going to be painful to do so. And it's going to be a bumpy ride for them even to switch over to something else. But they have their foot in the water already with, doing oil trades in rubles or rupees or the yuan. Those things have been happening now for quite some time, well over a year. And those are increasing. And the usage of the euro is just collapsing in terms of international settlements. So I agree with you, Andy. I think that coming soon, I think all of these non-Western nations, i.e. the BRICS nations, are going to say, this is, maybe we weren't 100% ready, but this is the time to do it. What do you think?
I think that's exactly right. And look at let's use Iraq as an example of why these countries feel that way. I mean, you've done
So yeah, they go into some good info. Where they pretty much, because in these nations they know also when they back away from the dollar, there's gonna be a global collapse. Okay, the whole economy gonna collapse when they back away from the dollar. That's when okay, that they gonna introduce the sea hip. In fact, I think he's gonna mention. I'm gonna let it play some more. I think he's gonna link it to the sea hip. Okay, because when they allow this thing to collapse, okay, they're ready to roll out the sea hip, a new economy. Okay, so they want this thing to collapse. Let me see. I'm gonna let it play some more. He might say it.
documented perfectly the weaponization of the world reserve currency. That's a no-no. When you control the world reserve currency, it is not your prerogative. It shouldn't be anyway to weaponize the dollar at your will, especially a country like the United States, who these other countries around the globe view as being very hypocritical. Now, why would I say that? Well, we invaded Iraq in 2003, 20 years ago, under the guise of weapons of mass destruction. We didn't find any. Oops, we're sorry, we destroyed your country, we toppled the regime, we supposedly put in a new regime, allegedly. And let's take a look at what's happening there right now. All of their oil revenue, last year, 2022, they made $90 billion in oil revenue. And all of that money, for whatever reason, has to be paid and sitting in a reserve account at Federal Reserve in New York. Just last month, Iraq said, hey, can we please have $1 billion of our $90 billion that we made in 2022? And they said, no, you can't. So when you talk about, the Iraqi oil funds, which are.
So you see the authority that America has in the earth. Here it is. Iraqi made 90 billion, and this is why they got rid of Saddam. Okay, because Saddam didn't want to deal. Okay, with the FRN. Okay, the Federal Reserve note, the dollar, because now they've sold 90 billion. All right, dollars worth of oil. Okay, but they're in what? A federal bank in in New York. Okay, so you see how America treats these nations like little children, and then they ask for $1 billion of their of the 90 billion that they made from their oil sales. They asked for $1 billion of it. America said no. Okay, that's why. Hey, what's that? Habakkuk. The brother can post that in Habakkuk. Okay, Habakkuk chapter 2. Let's get verses 4 through 7. you know, It's like this man just been the Debo, man, and these nations they ain't nothing to do but to fight, man. Okay, America is just been an oppressive, all right, regime in the earth, man. Okay, yep, this is on the brother Yaqub, Isaiah 14:6. It says, "He who smote the people in wrath with a continued stroke, he that ruled the nation in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth, man." And the anger towards America, this disdain that these people, that these nations have of America, you can see why. But if you deal in dollars, he's able to have full control over that dollar, or those, you know, where their money, the accounts that money has to go to. Because when you do big transactions like that, a lot of these nations go through SWIFT banking system, which is overseen and has to be approved by America, man. Okay. These nations, they want to break away from that, man. All right, and it's going to lead into a war. Okay, let's read this. This is the hopeful leg 3, Habakkuk 2:4 says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up in him is not upright," which means straightforward or honest in him, but the just shall live by faith. All right, so you keep reading verse 5. It says, "Yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, which is his doctrine, his philosophy, all right, which he has influenced the majority of the earth to partake in his way." You know, it says, "He is a proud man, neither keep it at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is deaf and cannot be satisfied." All right, and not be satisfied. All right. It says, gather unto him all nations, and heaping unto him all people. And this is what this man has been doing. He has everyone snared, by that dollar. And and instead of easing up, he wants to increase his control with the C hip. Okay, that's why, the CBDC, which is just going to be more control. Okay. All right, but this is the mindset of these nations. Shall not all these take up apparel against him, and they taunting proverb against him, and say, "Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long, and to him that laded himself with thick clay," all right, which is debt, because America only has like $6 trillion in assets, okay, but their debt is 150 trillion, okay. So through this money system, this money printing system, this man has printed himself into trillions of dollars of debt. So they need a reset. America needs a reset. Okay. And what's the quickest way to reset? Through war? Well, you just get more resources. Okay. Verse 7, it says, "Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and they wake that shall vest thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood and for violence of the land, of the city, all right, and all that dwell, all right, therein." And America has been the hammer of the earth. But guess what? Now America's finna get hammered. America done spoiled the earth. Now America's finna be spoiled, man. Okay? That poverty that America has created throughout the earth, guess what? It's finna come back here in a major way. Okay? That's part of the ripple effect, the effects of war. Okay? The people go into poverty, nations go into poverty, man. Okay? That's why war would always be the last option, man, because war has major effects, man. Okay? Even if you're not over there in the battlefield, guess what? You can die because of what's going on in the battlefield due to starvation and lack of resources. It's a lot. Oh, all right. So let's play some more.
Are being held by the New York Fed, where currently we are sanctioning 14 of the Iraqi banks for accusing them of trading in dollars with Iran for natural gas so they don't fry in the middle of the summer. It's 110 degrees. And all of this money that they make in selling oil, even 20 years later, after supposedly we put in a sovereign government, they're still restrained or restricted from opening accounts for its oil earnings outside the U.S. and we won't even give them $1 billion. So when you talk about Iraq saying we're going to fully de-dollarize cash transactions by the end of the year, when you see that they're making it illegal for businesses to trade in dollars, this is the rallying cry. And absolutely, I think a lot of the countries around the world not only are at their wits' ends in terms of the coercion and the bullying, but also in the mismanagement of our country inside and out. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this happen real quick.
Absolutely. And it's also clear that a lot of these countries that have been buying U.S. Treasury debt, which is bolstering support for the dollar currency and allowing the Federal Reserve to print more dollars without causing hyperinflation, right? The more debt they can sell, the more they can print, obviously. But a lot of these countries are realizing, hey, why are we supporting what they see as a regime, the U.S. government regime, that is using our assets to help them print money to send more weapons to Israel and Ukraine and Taiwan? Those are the three proxy nations, so that the U.S. can wage war with Russia, Iran, and China, right? So it's like, and then Janet Yellen comes along and says, hey, we can afford a 2-front war. We can afford a 3-front war. Can I hear a 4-front war? Who's going to give me 5-front war? And it's insane. It's completely insane. And the world is looking at that saying, maybe we don't want to, number one, fund this. And also maybe we don't want to be owed money by these crazy countries, i.e. the US, that just is going to print until it all goes to zero. You think some of that's happening as well?
Well, yeah, 100%. You got $123 billion dumped by the BRICS nations so far this year in treasuries. China being the
Eventually he links it to the CBDC. You can watch it. I say it's about 58 minutes. We are already at the 14-minute mark. So about another 40 minutes. All right. But eventually he goes into it. All right. But I want to get this here. We can end it here because we're going to see the ripple effect, okay, of this war. All right. So when you go back to second Esdras, yeah, the second Esdras. All right, this is the book of second Esdras, chapter 16. All right. Verse 21, it says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves in a good case, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So you see, all these things are always mentioned together. Okay? The sword and famine, violence and famine. Okay? And war is going to increase that in the earth, even if you're not in a direct conflict, okay, of this war. It's going to create very hostile situation because of, the supply chain interruptions, man. Okay, so evils are growing upon the earth, even though at the moment, what you just had the penny cheeseburger, 50-cent cheeseburgers. Okay, but guess what? War is on the increase. Okay, while things are still cheap, relatively cheap at this time, particular things, you have, people hurting with inflation in certain areas, but then you have, still convenience and access to goods. Okay. So is that many going to perish by famine? And as this war revs up, famine is going to increase. Okay, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy, whether it's domestically, okay, with the domestic violence that's going to be happening, man. Okay, the militias and the people raiding houses. Okay, all the way up to the missiles, man. It says, "And the dead shall be cast out of the dung, and their bodies shall no man." And this is war. This is war times, man. All right, populations are going to drop drastically. We're going to read. It says, "And the dead shall be cast out of the dawn, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down." Okay? War torn. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? All right? The grapes shall ripen, who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men. And see, this is how you know the draft is coming. Okay? Then it's going to be, just violence in the streets of people, robbing and looting each other. Okay? But when you had the Civil War, there was plantations that was left untended to because the men, the slaves, and the slave owners, a lot of them ended up having to go to the war. Okay? There was a lot of things left untended to, and you're gonna see when the men start leaving, and having to go to war, you're gonna see how society just collapsed. Okay? The men that maintain society that everyone enjoys, okay? You're gonna see, okay, these cities and these places unkept. Okay, and there'll be no landscaping. All right, y'all say we just used to things being done. Okay, but there's going to be a major interruption in day-to-day operations, man. When this war intensifies, it says, "So that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice, for for of a city there shall be 10 left, and two of the field which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks, as in the orchard of olives. Upon every tree there are left 3 or 4 olives, or when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through, all right, the vineyard." Okay, it's gonna be a population that's finna get scarce, man. Okay, even so in those days, all right, there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword, people scavenging still. Okay, and the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel there through. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. Women shall mourn, having no husbands, and their daughters. It says, "Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine." Okay? War is going to have a major effect in the day to day. All right? Even just this first initial conventional regional conflict, they can be sparked, by uh, 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 them Israelis invading the Gaza Strip. Okay, hey, we can expect to feel a ripple effect, man. All right, when these things continue to intensify, all right, and it's all prophetic, So that's the point. I want to bring that out. Just go into that, and this is where we at with it. All right, we're gonna continue to watch and keep up with these things, man. Because it's looking like it's gonna go there. It's gonna be a gradual thing. Before it gets nuclear. All right, it's gonna be a lot of you know supply chain interruptions. Okay, it's gonna be a lot of conventional warfare in the draft. The men. Because that's when we're gonna know. All right, that is real when the draft, all right, is implemented. Okay, so Lord will you brothers, All right, and you sisters was edified. Till next time I say shalom. Go on, y'all, shalom. Abba, detail soon. Shalom.